Hi, and welcome back to part 3 of playtesting my Bloodborne tabletop RPG. Last time, our characters handily defeated 2 Scourge Wolves and earned themselves a level up. Let's see what changes for our heroes. First of all, Gehrman. Gehrman in the first episode died once and put his level up from the second episode into Skill, which increases his permanent beasthood by 1, which will increase the damage he deals, but also the damage he takes, unless of course I forget. And the +1 in skill, of course, enhances the damage of his weapon, and also the bonus he gets to his skills: athletics, dodge, medicine, parry, sleight of hand, and stealth. Eileen the Crow did not die, and didn't have her beasthood increased, but she also put her +1 from killing the Scourge Wolves into skill, which also of course increases athletics, dodge, medicine, parry, sleight of hand, and stealth. Moving on to Gascoigne, who put his level up into strength, which increases athletics, intimidation, resistance, and the same goes for his old friend Henrik. And with that being said, let's get into the gameplay. Today, our characters are taking on their very first boss enemy. And here we go. Our heroes engage the Cleric Beast. But not on the Great Bridge, but instead at the Tomb of Odin. I rolled initiative and I rolled pretty badly except for Gascoigne, who of course is the first to act and approaches the Cleric Beast. As he is equipped with his extended or transformed Hunter Axe, he will simply get close, or only get as close as 10 feet to the Cleric Beast and then charge an attack. Charging an attack doubles the strength bonus to the damage of the attack. But as he rolled a 1 on the attack, it unfortunately misses anyways. But it certainly would have dealt massive amounts of damage if it had hit. Next up is the Cleric Beast, swiping at Gascoigne for 6 damage. But he decides to dodge, and with the 12 + 1, he will be able to. They need a 10 to dodge the Cleric Beast's attacks. Next up is Eileen. She can pass over, and actually everyone can pass over the tombstones in the Tomb of Odin, but they are difficult terrain for anything not as huge as the Cleric Beast. And then it's the Cleric Beast's turn again. It will use a much stronger attack, the Paw Slam, as Gascoigne is unable to dodge, and he will, as a result, take massive damage from the attack and will be only left with 1 HP. Just here I notice, and I'm pretty sure that will happen quite a lot in this fight, I forgot to push Gascoigne back on the timeline for dodging. Oh well, shit happens. Especially when you're piloting 5 characters at once. Anyways, Henrik attacks with his Saw Cleaver, doing almost maximum damage. He gets +3 from his +3 to strength, and another +3 for the serration of his Saw Cleaver. Measuring the distance for Gehrman's Burial Blade attack, he of course wields the Burial Blade in 2 hands. And for that reason, he has 15 feet range for the attack. And unfortunately, he also misses. Then it's Eileen's turn again, or I guess her action. And she attacks with her Blade of Mercy. Now, you see that the Cleric Beast has 3 essentially health bars. The reason for that is the Cleric Beast has breakable limbs, as it is in the video game. If the characters exceed 40 damage on one of the limbs, so left arm, right arm, and its head, it will be staggered, and if they break the hand, they also get to execute a visceral attack. So it is necessary for me to track which limb they are attacking. Also, the damage from the attacks was reduced. That is because the Cleric Beast actually does have some armor due to its very strong hide and fur. Now, Gascoigne took quite a lot of damage, so he will be taking a Blood Vial and heal for not great amounts of HP. What is great, however, is Eileen's next attack with her Blade of Mercy, which deals the absolute maximum of damage she can deal with one attack, which is 4 plus 4, 8, 11. 11 points of damage, minus 1 from the armor of the beast. And Hendrik will, of course, attack with his Saw Cleaver again for 12 points of damage. He will be pushed back 7 ticks, 6, because he is using the Saw Cleaver in its transformed state, which gives him a bonus range, which is relevant for hitting the head. Because the head of the Cleric Beast is very high up in the air, so it is a rule, it can only be hit with attacks that have at least 10 feet range. So, Gascoigne, lucky for him, gets his dodge ability back upon turn of the... upon ending of the turn. The Cleric Beast will use its Howl ability. That forces each character to make a willpower saving throw, and everyone who doesn't get 10 to their willpower will be staggered for a moment. They will be staggered for 5 ticks, and their next action will be pushed back 5 ticks. But the Cleric Beast can only use it once per turn, and only again when it rolls a 6 on the recharge die. Very similar to how D&D works. And in this case only Hendrik was pushed back. The Cleric Beast then uses a jump attack. As Gascoigne is already very hurt, it will of course try to finish him. And as the Cleric Beast is a huge beast, it can of course attack from 10 feet range. But Gascoigne, lucky for him, manages to dodge the attack. Now the Cleric Beast has crossed the threshold to the second turn, so I should have rolled to recharge its Howl, but I forget. That, yes, will happen a lot. But again, it is what it is, especially when you are piloting 5 characters at once. Now, German gets into position, so does Eileen. And Eileen, on the last tick of the first turn, will attack with a Blade of Mercy again. Another critical hit with the first die, going to 8 points of damage. And as you can see, she is now attacking the third limb, in this case the right arm of the beast, because she cannot reach the left arm. You need to be in the correct position to attack any given limb of the opponent. And German misses another attack with his Burial Blade. He is very unlucky in this fight. Would have dealt pretty good damage too. Well, nothing I can do. Gascoigne heals again with another Blood Vial. Each of our characters has 3 available, so he is down to only 1. And he will be running away in hopes of escaping the Cleric Beast. Also, if the Cleric Beast conducts another jump attack, it will be in a better position for Gascoigne's allies to attack his already damaged limbs. Another attack from Eileen, again landing a critical hit with her Blade of Mercy for 9 points of damage in this case. -1 of course, due to the Cleric Beast's armor. And the Cleric Beast will jump attack, trying to finally finish off Gascoigne. Gascoigne cannot dodge anymore, so he has to take the damage the Cleric Beast deals on its face. here I kind of think how I should position the Cleric Beast, but I decide to just let the token stand as it is. Again, it is kind of relevant, as it determines from which direction characters have to attack when trying to hit the various body parts. And Gascoigne, of course, cannot withstand another 12 points of damage from the Cleric Beast, and he will die and be sent back to the Hunter's Dream. Rolling for Beasthood, and he manages to not increase his Beasthood. Here I remember that the Howl of the Cleric Beast can recharge, and I roll to recharge it, but it ends up as a 3, which is not enough. Cleric Beast needs a 6 to recharge its Howl. Henrik in this position can both attack the Cleric Beast's left arm and its head, and Eileen with a very quick weapon attacks with the Blade of Mercy again and lands another crit, or in this case 8 points of damage, -1, to the Cleric Beast's left arm. Next up is the Sawcleaver attack by Henrik, the Old Hunter, who lands another good hit against the head of the Cleric Beast. His head has already sustained 33 points of damage, so it is actually quite close to breaking. And the Cleric Beast will swipe at Henrik. Swipe, of course, is its very fast attack, and similar to the Blade of Mercy in its transformed state. If the Cleric Beast continues to attack by swiping, the tick cost, the cooldown on the attack, will reduce with attacks. Henrik, however, manages to dodge the attack by rolling a critical failure and a critical success. But as he is proficient in the dodge skill, we count the critical success. And German actually manages to hit something with his burial blade for below average damage. But hey, he finally landed something. Good job! And Blade of Mercy attack by Eileen for respectable 3 + 3 points of damage, minus armor bonus. I won't be mentioning the armor of the Cleric Beast in the future, I think. You get the point. And the Cleric Beast hits Henrik with a Paw Slam for 6 points of damage. This one Henrik can't dodge anymore because he dodged already this time. Or so I thought. As Henrik's last action was in the last turn and has put him into turn 3, he can actually dodge again and prevent the 6 damage from the Paw Slam attack. And another Blade of Mercy attack from Eileen. And now also the left arm is looking quite rough for the Cleric Beast. Now German decided to be a good colleague and try to revive Gascoigne by using the Beckoning Bell and 3 of his Quicksilver bullets. But, spoiler alert, that won't be relevant in this fight. None of our hunters can really deal any significant amount of damage with their Quicksilver bullets. They are much better at dodging than compared to parrying, and the Cleric Beast can't parry anyways, so they won't be using it. Or they won't be using the parry ability. Henrik attacks with a Sawcleaver, dealing some good damage to the Cleric Beast's head again. And Eileen lands another massive crit with her Blade of Mercy. As the turn has changed, the Cleric Beast can try to recharge its Howl, and fails the check again. It will then try to jump attack German, as if he takes damage, the channeling of the Beckoning Bell will stop. So German does need to dodge this attack, or Gascoigne won't be able to rejoin. And continuing his awful dice rolls in this fight, he of course manages to does not manage to dodge the attack, and the channeling of his beckoning bell is interrupted, and he takes a bunch of damage. Well, 7. Which is 70% of his HP. So quite a lot. But the Cleric Beast was sent back quite a number of ticks on the timeline. However, Eileen's Blade of Mercy attack misses. Actually, she hasn't missed quite as often as one would expect, as she has with 25% actually a quite high chance of missing her attacks. She of course gets a lot of them when compared to any other characters. Henrik approaches, but he will have to wait his turn to attack. It will be the Cleric Beasts next, who will paw slam German, as he cannot dodge anymore, as he failed to dodge before. And he will get pulverized, and also his beasthood increases yet again as he fails the check to resist. Now there's only Eileen and Henrik left, and even though they have dealt quite significant damage to the Cleric Beast, 2v1 is a very tough fight against the boss. So Eileen will try to call back Gascoigne or German, and she is using her beckoning bell. She only needs to dodge one attack by the Cleric Beast. Henrik tries to attack the Cleric Beast, but misses with his Saw Cleaver. And now will be the deciding attack. The Cleric Beast will try using his Paw Slam, dealing absolutely massive, maximum damage of 27 if it lands. That can almost one-shot a high-level character. But luckily for Eileen, she has a +3 to dodging and rolls the required 7, managing to dodge the attack. And she is pushed back 3 ticks because she did dodge, and for once I did not forget that actually carries a tick penalty. And having used such a strong attack, the Cleric Beast is of course pushed back quite a lot, and even though it hasn't happened yet, it is a foregone conclusion that Eileen will call back Gascoigne to the battlefield. But first, it's Henrik's turn, who attacks with his Saw Cleaver again, dealing good damage this time. And as the turn has changed, Henrik will be able to dodge again next time. And I guess I could have checked if the Cleric Beast gets his Howl recharged, but I forgot. Ongoing theme, I know. Anyway, Eileen calls back Gascoigne, who will, of course, spawn in next to her. And he will also get his first action right after Eileen. And as he has died, he also gets all his HP back. Welcome back, Gascoigne. The channeling has ended, though Eileen will get to attack with her Blade of Mercy again. Dealing, well, not very great damage to be honest, but at least her weapon doesn't have that high of a cooldown. Gascoigne will get into position to attack the Cleric Beast's head, as from the point where he spawned in, he would only be able to attack the Cleric Beast's right arm. And this time, he actually does quite a lot of damage with his Hunter Axe, rolling a 6. And as the head of the Cleric Beast has now sustained more than 60 points of damage, it will be staggered, being pushed back 5 ticks on the turn order. And also, one of our hunters will get to conduct a visceral attack, in this case Eileen, rolling basically the same as gas coin, being 6 plus 3 for the visceral attack. And technically that should have been 6 plus 6. Of course, the visceral attack also deals double the character's skill in damage. And another great bonus is you don't actually need to invest cooldown time to conduct a visceral attack. It really is a reward without downside. Henrik has continuously attacked with his saw cleaver, and will conduct a transform attack with his saw cleaver, dealing an additional 1d4 damage with the attack, but also slightly increasing the cooldown the attack has. And of course, Eileen will continue attacking with her Blade of Mercy. It's not much damage individually, but if she gets to attack continuously, her DPS can absolutely skyrocket. As she gets to attack again before the Carapace has its action. But, well, she misses her second attack and that's right. Not too bad for her, as she doesn't have high cooldowns. The Cleric Beast will attack Eileen with his Paw Slam, of course, hoping to finish her off. But it rolls quite badly, and even though Eileen cannot dodge again this turn, the Cleric Beast's damage is not enough to finish her off. And now the Cleric Beast is in quite the bind. It is lucky that Eileen's next attack with the Blade of Mercy misses. But she can of course attack again and again and again, and this time the Blade of Mercy connects for 6 damage. Then it will be Henrik's turn again, and Henrik will move to the Cleric Beast's left side, hoping to break its left arm when he gets to attack. The Hunter Axe is especially powerful when its attacks are charged, so Gascoigne will do just that. But before he finishes charging, Eileen, of course, attacks again with her Hunter. But then Gascoigne unleashes a powerful hit with his Hunter Axe, dealing 9 damage on the die roll plus 6, since a charged attack deals double the scaling stats damage bonus. And that attack will be enough to finish the first boss fight of our hunters, killing the Cleric Beast. And that's about it for today. Finally, our first boss defeated, and with that, I will be making some changes for next time. First of all, as our characters manage to defeat a boss, they will get another level up. And also, Henrik will be replaced with another character. He's just too similar to Gascoigne in his skill set, and I want someone with a little bit of blood tinge. If you happen to know of a hunter who canonically is, well, a blood tinge heavy build, let me know in the comments. I can only think of the Bloody Crow of Canehurst, and that NPC really just isn't fleshed out very much. If you happen to know an NPC who is kind of an interesting character and a blood tinge user, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I will probably just inventing someone. I'll just be inventing. Yeah, also, you probably noticed I always have a playtime at the bottom of the screen for all these playtesting sessions. The reason for that is quite simple. I think combat shouldn't take hours upon hours, which has happened to me in different other tabletop RPGs. and one of my, let's call it mission statements, is this game would be quite quick. Now, this fight took about like 25 minutes, which is not nothing, but I think for a boss that is still quite a good amount of time that it might, or that a fight might take. And I think it was a quite exciting fight with 2 characters going down, and if the Cleric Beast had stopped Eileen from resummoning Gascoigne, the fight would have been probably a loss for our characters. So I was quite happy with this fight in general. Yeah, so I think that is about it for today. Stay tuned for the next episode, and of course, subscribe, like, and comment. It makes me feel good, and this is apparently how YouTube works. Anyways, till next time. Bye! And thank you for watching, of course.